Well, good morning, Lionhearts. I know I look weird now, but I couldn't pass up this opportunity. I'm just laying here next to my buddy, and this was the last night of sleep that we get to hang out before we see each other in 2 weeks. Because tonight he gets dropped off at Breck's house, so I'm going to make today as special for him as I can while doing all the errands I have to run. So he's going to do all of them with me. We're going to hit the park. Then we're going to drive out. Actually, we're going to hit the park. We have a meeting with Scott Michaels from Dearly Departed. I've been trying to drop off that Tina Turner wallpaper to him forever, right? And he sent me an email yesterday and said, "So sorry, I keep missing you. What are you doing tomorrow?" So I'm going to meet up with him. And then we're going to drive out to Topanga Canyon and pick up the stuff for Michael. I might vlog out there. I might vlog over here. Come back here, and then tonight I gotta take this guy out and hopefully see my I don't know if I'd say girlfriend or the girl that I date. Hopefully I would like to see her one more time before I leave. So we're gonna see if we can make that happen because she's working tomorrow when I leave. So I don't know. We'll all do it together. Thanks for coming with me, guys. Days with Jordan the Lion begins now. Just to get it done, we're going to run by the post office, mail this out, and then go hit the park. Good morning, Los Angeles. How are you today? Well, that's an odd place for a record, but okay. Well, we're here. This should be painless. I should just be able to walk up to the automated machine and do it all myself and get out of here. And look who came along too. All right, perfect. There's nobody at the machine. They haven't even opened the windows yet, so they have the side for the machines open, but nothing else, so I was able to get in and get out, and let's go to the park. Here we go, here we go. You can't wait. Well, it just wouldn't be a day at the park without the City Utility Recreations and Parks Department out here. We're gonna have fun anyway. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're gonna get a hangout here. They just hosed the entire grass down, all of it. It's walking through and it's slushing. Ugh, no fun. Not much playing to be done here. But I did see something extremely hilarious on my drive up here. One of those moments where you wish that you had spy goggles on or spy glasses, because as I'm driving up this little like side street, I look over and it's probably 8:50, 8:45 in the morning, and there's a woman in her nightgown with a bathrobe, no shoes, and she's out pulling items out of the trunk of her car with a Darth Vader helmet on. Well, the old Joster was invited to go over to Pollyanna's house today, but I really want to spend the day with him. Even though I have to run errands and stuff, I'm going to do everything with him. And the only thing that I'm not going to is when I go over to Dearly Departed. I'm going to drop him off at home for that, but everything else he's going to take the ride with me because I want to spend as much time with him as I can. So I'm hoping, I invited Pollyanna to come out here, but Sammy wasn't awake yet, so hopefully Sam will wake up, see that message, and meet us out here. Or really any dog would be nice. Somebody for him to play with right now. You hear all that water crunch? Well, Lionhearts, I decided what I'm going to do today. After I meet up with Scott Michaels, I'm going to take off and do the vlog. And this was inspired by, I was listening to David Bowie Station to Station last night, and I wanted to know a little bit about the story. And so I started reading up, and apparently this was an album that was not only one of his biggest successes, but it was an album that he was completely fueled by cocaine and actually went through such a crazy state of paranoia and absence that he later claimed to not even remember anything about the recording of this album. He claimed during the time that the Rolling Stones were subliminally sending him messages. He claimed that witches were stealing his semen while he was sleeping. But he made one of the most amazing albums ever. An album so amazing that after he was done, he actually claimed that the city of Los Angeles should be wiped off the face of the earth. Really bizarre story. Well, here we are. There's the truck that's making all the noise. And I guess it's safe to say he is here. Well, I brought my collection of stuff here, and I told Scott he can take whatever he wants for his display here at the museum. Hilarious. We've been in here talking, I've been showing him stuff, and then as soon as I started filming, somebody came in and wants to buy the hearse out front, so you might sell the hearse while I'm here. That is pretty interesting. Cool piece of memorabilia. Here we go. Scott's looked through pretty much everything that I haven't given away to other people, and I'm gonna let him take whatever he wants. So what are you thinking, Scott? What would you like?
You know, I'm grooving on, well, certainly on this press packet envelope, and this is amazing. This is awesome. I've seen this, I believe, in the movie too, in the Ike Pitino movie. The splicer that was probably part of his recording studio in the house, which is amazing. It looks like it's definitely been used.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? Who knows on what? And some soap, because he didn't need to wash the blood off her.
Very possible. Well, you're welcome to all of it, well, my friend. Really yeah.
Cool. I wish I had room for everything, but this is going to be perfect in my in a new glass cabinet that I get moving pretty soon. So you're very kind.
Oh, my pleasure. Well, gang, here we are today. Now an apartment building, but one time the historic Cherokee Recording Studios. On Fairfax Avenue. Now this was a pretty amazing place because this was actually a facility that was started in the 70s by a band, the Robs. The Robs were three brothers that had been making or attempting to make a successful run at being a popular band in those days, and really weren't having much luck, and saw all the money that they were spending on studios all over the country as they were touring and doing different things. They were popping in studios, and they just saw how much money they were spending. So when they came back, they decided to open their own studio in Chatsworth, California. And the studio was kind of getting successful to the point where they actually were able to move it to Fairfax. And what's crazy is that at one point, when they opened their studios, so many of the studios in those days were actually owned and operated by the record companies, and since this was an independent venture, they were actually shut down by the sheriff for operating an independent studio. And somehow from that weird, interesting legacy of startup, they created a vibe that was so fascinating at this place that George Martin, Sir George Martin of the Beatles fame, actually called this the greatest sounding studio in the world at one point. And some of the albums that you may know that were recorded here were Frank Sinatra's Christmas album, Michael Jackson's Off the Wall. One of the things it's most famous for is Steely Dan's Pretzel Logic. It was also really famous for being the recording studio that Station to Station by David Bowie was recorded at, and there's actually a really famous photo of David Bowie walking right up this sidewalk, right directly in front of me, up the side of the studio. And this studio at one point, it became so well loved that they actually opened another like little satellite location over on Beverly Drive, so they had kind of studios everywhere, but this particular location had 5 different studios inside, and everybody that like recorded for MGM Recording at that time recorded here. Ella Fitzgerald, I mean the lists were like endless. And now, in 2007, or now since 2007, they bulldozed it and they created this apartment building that's got the name Cherokee to it. It's got that same somewhat look to what the studios look like, but it will never have that history that we once had with David Bowie. I mean, actually, Ringo Starr recorded a handful of his albums here. Pretty much everybody that was surviving that was connected to the Beatles came and recorded on that with him. Let's go over and take a little bit of a closer look. Well, there it is. And this, like I said, you've seen Frank Sinatra record here, but also Count Basie, Ella Fitzgerald, Elvis Presley, and even Motley Crue recorded the Shout at the Devil and Theater of Pain album here. And in an interview I was able to find with Tommy Lee, he was talking about how recording here, they would record for like literally 3 days straight without stopping, and it wouldn't even feel like work. They were just having so much fun. Now it's pretty much right here is where that famous photo of David Bowie walking, holding some of his master tapes along this sidewalk right by the studio. Now Cherokee was also the recording studio that Bonnie Raitt got part of her start. She actually lived in an apartment right behind this complex and got her start doing a lot of backup singing here. Of course, her father was a famous contemporary pianist and composer, but Bonnie Raitt, I mean, that's pretty fascinating. And it was actually right here when David Bowie was recording Station to Station that's when that famous article in Rolling Stone came out that Cameron Crowe spent the time in the studio with David Bowie and did that big interview at that time. What a great history this building once had, or what used to stand here once had. This saw the very last recording of Harry Nilsson. He recorded his last album here. Weird Al Yankovic recorded his first album here. So interesting. And it was the Stop and Smell the Roses album that Ringo recorded here, that he invited all the members of the Beatles to participate in, and had actually invited John Lennon to participate in it as well, but he ended up being assassinated before the recording sessions would take place. But Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and I believe Linda McCartney were on that album. Alright, I came back to pick up this guy. And I'm sorry guys, I realized when after I said it and I started walking back to the car, I didn't mean George Martin said that was the best sounding studio in the world. I meant he said it was the best sounding studio in the United States. Sorry about that. Well, it's about that time to make the drive to Topanga Canyon. Let's get this over with. Well, we made it to Michael's house. Well, I just picked up everything they needed, and this guy wants to walk around the yard a little bit before we go and then head back to Hollywood. Nope, you're not looking at Michael's new painting on his wall. You're looking at the view from his yard. As I was leaving, I looked over at Hidden Treasures, which I vlogged a long time ago, and they had repainted the whole place, so I thought I'd show you guys how they repainted it. It's definitely a destination. If you come to Topanga Canyon, you gotta come here. They pretty much change out their clothing based on the season and what's going on, and if there's like a local festival, they'll have all the clothing here for that. And if you didn't notice, there's actually even the SS Minnow. Dun 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 dun. And this guy lives here too. We are out of here. Well, the laundry's in and me and this guy are just hanging out together. I'm gonna go grab it out of the dryer and let him roll around in it. Well, it's getting to be that time. Almost time to take him over to Orange County. We've just been hanging out. Just hanging out, haven't we, Joster? Well, I'm definitely gonna miss this head, that's for sure. My little buddy. Well, just here saying goodbye to this guy. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't gonna miss him a ton. I thought today he actually missed me a lot, or he could tell something was gonna happen, because he's been real clingy the last couple of days, but ever since I told him he was going to Breck's house today, that's all he seems to care about, so hopefully it won't be very traumatic or anything. More traumatic on me than him. And he's in good hands over here as soon as Breck gets done eating his burrito. Well, Jaw's been dropped off, and I'm going to go visit the lady before she goes to bed, and then I'm going to go home and wrap up our vlog there. Well, man, I do not like saying goodbye, so that was rough saying goodbye to her and Jaw, and now calling it the end of a night. Hope you guys enjoyed the vlog today. So many things I had to do today, and I pretty much got everything done. Now all I have to do is pretty much pack and get myself to the airport on time. Wanted to send a shout out thank yous to the new Patreons, Raymond Martin and Jalen McGuire and Nancy Hopple for your donation. Thank you all so much, and come back and see me tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do for my last day in town. I have not decided. Your guess is as good as mine. Have a great night, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.